Oh, baby. Did that blast your eardrums out? I hope it did. You want to know why? We're back. The first time in a long while. We're talking about earnings reports for the week coming up, the most anticipated earnings. I know you're excited because, frankly, I know I sure am. Look, what do we have going on today? Really, just for the week. Hey, I'm excited to get back onto one of these, man. It's been forever, and I hope you're excited too. Tell me about the stocks you're looking forward to this week. I got a couple that I've picked out, kind of handpicked, that I'm certainly more interested in than the others. But hey, we'll take a look. So let's get right freaking into this because it takes some time. So May 8th, 2023, start of the week. We got a lot of great earnings, right? We're still kind of in the heat of earnings season. We've had a lot of these big tech companies come through. And results have been pretty good, all things considered. When you look from a revenue perspective, these companies have been doing great things. Now, this week we have highlighted, kind of a bunch of different, obviously quite a wide variety. There's no doubt about it. But one kind of main thing I'd like to point out is there's a lot of these uh, EV companies reporting this week. One of which being a fake EV company. You'll know which one that is just by looking at your screen towards the top left. One of which is a fraud, completely fake. But anyways, we're going to see EVs reporting. That's big. That's big for the market, right? We'll take a look at that. We're starting off with Monday, though, before open, with none other than one of the most boring companies to ever exist, known as Tyson. You know them. You've had their spongy nuggets. You've had their frozen chicken products. You've had it all. Look, there's not much to say about Tyson, okay? They're still, it really still are in a recovery process, which is kind of wild. We saw terrible, terrible supply chain issues um, through 2020, through 2022. I mean, this is crazy. How could we not get our frozen chicken? I'm still seeing issues in the store at times. It's kind of crazy. How is this possible? I just don't understand it. Anyways, still in a recovery play, but it's still one of the most consistent, boring companies out there. There's nothing exciting about Tyson. Sorry to say it, but I'm actually not sorry. Next one, BioNTech. You know them. Partnered with Pfizer to make the vaccine, quote unquote vaccine. Got to put parentheses or quotation marks around that because it doesn't necessarily serve as a vaccine would, but they made a shot. Okay, how about that? They made a shot for you. Look, we've already seen data because Pfizer reported their earnings. There's really not much demand out there for this so-called vaccine. It's not there. People don't want it anymore, and you want to know why? Even the World Health Organization has said COVID-19. I said it, I'm getting banned. Anyway, they said it's not a pandemic, so I guess I can't get banned anymore. Is that a thing? Anyways, right, they've determined, look, for now at least, it's not a pandemic. Now, again, they could change their eyes later down the road, but for now, there's no demand for the vaccine, and that was a big, big chunk of revenue, obviously, for BioNTech over the last several years. But now people are just kind of, whatever. We don't really hear about it much. It's not in the news much anymore. It's just not as relevant as it once was. So, for that, worth noting. We're going to see some revenue decline here. I mean, it's worth taking a look at. Let's move on. Viatris, you already know that they're making pharmaceuticals. I just know by the name. Not familiar with the company wholly, but I know they're making pharmaceuticals. Just you can tell by the name. Okay, it's pretty obvious, folks, and the logo kind of similar too. But anyways, next on Six Flags. Look, kind of a strange one. I never know how to rate Six Flags in a quarter like this. I mean, this is a winter quarter. They don't have anything going on, right? Park's not even being open. Not a whole lot going on for them. Just really the start of the season for them. So it's really hard to predict on that. But again, it is a play when you look at overall experiences. It's a good company to look at because you can see what those trends are starting out like for this company also, as well as a lot of other companies. We see Disney reporting later. It's relevant to them. Even Six Flags is, right? If they're doing experiences like Six Flags, they'll be willing to do experiences like Walt Disney Resorts, everything like that. They're going to go to Disney World, Disneyland. They're going wherever they want. Suck on it, Dan Marino. You're not going anywhere, buddy. Okay. Dish. Do people use Dish? You kidding me? Why Dish? Okay, we're moving on from Dish. Freshpet, you know them. Look, they're working heavy on the marketing game here. There is no doubt. Freshpet is trying to become that name. You see it everywhere. And I've seen it several, even just from work experience too, that I've had. This is a company that's trying hard to promote their brand by buying premium retail space. Obviously, this is one where it's fresh pet food, right? If you couldn't get by the name, so it's something that has to be refrigerated. So obviously they need their own display anyways. Can't just be right by the pet food. But they're paying for the luxury spots on end caps, on features. If you don't know what an end cap is, but man, that's beautiful. You guys ever had this Mountain Dew Purple Thunder? Oh gosh, that's beautiful. That's a great taste. Anyways, I've never purchased this fresh pet food for anyone. You look, I hate to pay more for the pet's food than I do for my own freaking food. I eat garbage. The pets are eating garbage right now too. I hate to say it, but you already know there are people that are buying this stuff and they're gonna swear by it. I get it. It's good. You know, the pet probably enjoys it, but they also eat their own fecal matter, so they'd be okay with that also. Okay. Anyways, Energizer. Again, kind of a pretty boring one. Is that a new logo? What are these three little dots here? What'd they do to that? Why they add that? Anyways, boring company, battery demand. It's great. Come on now. People use batteries for freaking everything. Energizer's doing a great job. Axum. Sounds like a therapeutics company, guaranteed. KKR. And then Alpha. Uh, metallurgical resources. What the freak is a metallurgical? What are you even talking about? This is fake. Why are we making stuff up? After close Monday, we've got PayPal. Definitely one to look at. I think there's been some trends that can be seen as negative for PayPal, right? This particular quarter is one we're seeing backlashes off of a move that they made that they tried to backspin on, where they said if you quote unquote post misinformation, we're going to be potentially taking money from your account and putting it on hold, which is ridiculous. How is that even possible? Then they tried to backtrack from it. Look, I already know people stopped using this, PayPal because of that. I don't know how much that impacts the quarter, but it is worth mentioning. I don't think they'll mention it in the report just because they probably want to try to erase it from history that they were literally saying they're going to take people's money for posting online things. I don't know how that's even, what dystopian society are they living in? I don't know. Dystopian. What am I saying? Dystopian. That doesn't even make sense. I'm an idiot. I'm the idiot here. I deserve to get $5,000 stolen from me. Palantir after them. Hey, we love looking at Palantir. A lot of price movement on the stock. Great movement there. It's one that's worth looking. Um, Devon Energy, an energy company. One to look at, obviously. We look at oil prices, definitely on the rise during this quarter. Should be beneficial for them. Then we get into our EVs. Our first one of the week being Lucid Air. Or I guess just Lucid they go by, sorry. The Air is their vehicle. That's their model vehicle. Has anyone seen one of these on the road yet? I know I certainly haven't. And again, just EVs in general, not necessarily as big quite yet as people want to say. At least where I live. That's just because right now around us we don't have a whole lot of charging stations. That's just not practical at all. And this is taking, as I've said before, right, this is something that's going to take 10, 15 years down the road to even get the infrastructure possible to start having all these EVs on the road. And on top of that, to generate the amount of energy that we'll need is going to be a whole process. I don't know how we're going to even fathom getting that taken care of. 70% of our energy, even electricity as of now, is powered by fossil fuels. So, sorry. I appreciate, sorry to tell you that, folks, but it's worth saying. But look, people are going to be caring about the deliveries in this quarter. That's going to be what drives these numbers. Let's move on. I'm taking forever. Skyworks Solutions, worth taking a look at just due to the fact that, well, we saw some other chip companies and, companies making these type of products last week. You know what happened? AMD got hammered. They've actually recovered quite a bit, surprisingly. AMD got absolutely destroyed. And you want to know why? It's a guidance story, right? Their main thing was there was an uncertainty with guidance coming up. Now, Skyworks, I think the quarter should be good. And you want to know why? I know one of the main people they supply is going to be Apple, and they just posted some massive demand for iPhone. It was looking great. They just posted a lot of sales, and the demand is looking good forward. So we'll see what it looks like, but it is obviously worth looking at. Guidance is what's going to drive that price movement. And you'll see it with Western Digital a little bit later there too. And why do I say that? Western Digital, for sure, it's one that hasn't really moved much, right? We take a look at the stock price, and over the last week, this thing really has only moved about 2.8% down. Well, AMD at one point shifted down 10% in a whole day. Um, yeah, so we've got McKesson Energy, Suncor, Hims, Hers. I don't even know what that freaking means. I just don't even understand this. Is it a 2023 thing? I don't know. I just don't get it. And then we've got Shockwave Medical. I don't trust their name. Tuesday before open, Fisker. Fisker. What a logo. Kind of nice. Reminds me of like a BMW or something. What is that? What's about that? I don't know. Then we have the aforementioned fake EV company known as Nicola. How are they in business? How is this even possible? Look, the company doesn't have a real vehicle. They're fake. I got nothing to say about it. It's not worth mentioning. Novavax after that. A lot of movement on this one. As a biotech. I don't follow them too much, so I don't know what to tell you on this one. Sorry. DigitalOcean. That's right. Coty. Might be pronounced differently. Don't know them too well, and I apologize. Bluebird Bio. Again, I don't follow the biopharmas. I'm sorry, folks. There's just too much going on there. These things all rely on FDA approval of their drugs. That's what drives these prices, and it's just a whole lot to follow. Although I follow everything about my other companies, but still. Anyways, there's no way of knowing whether a drug's gonna, pass trial or not. There's literally no way. But everything else, I can kind of figure out. So, from financials of a company, but I can't with biopharmas, man. It's all luck. I feel like. Under Armour after them, very boring, basic company, right? Nothing crazy with Under Armour. You can't expect anything shocking there. Yeah, nothing crazy. We saw good shoe demand actually from who was that reported last week? Gosh darn it. I can't believe I completely forgot. Was it Adidas? I can't remember. Whoever reported last week saw good demand in shoes regardless. They reported with none other than the Yeezy. Can't remember. Air products after them. EVgo. Duke Energy. A lot of people do follow Duke Energy. Obviously, a nice dividend on that bad boy, too. After close Tuesday, another play for experiences is going to be Airbnb. Worth looking at. People usually utilize these when you're looking to go stay somewhere to, really enjoy experiences. Are people doing a lot of traveling? Not a massive traveling quarter, obviously. We're talking about, February through April. Not a massive travel quarter, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll see what it looks like. Rivian is one I am highlighting today. You want to know why? This thing from IPO, 2 years time frame, is down 90% from its IPO price. That's why I want to highlight this one, because the main story with this one is going to be on a revenue growth basis. I did want to mention our expectations for this one are being $1.31 in an EPS line. They've been relatively decent at beating from an EPS standpoint, but they're still losing so much money, and there's really no positive trend yet, right? They're still trending in the path of losing more money on a per share basis. I don't like it. I'm staying out of this thing because I just don't like, companies that are losing this much money and they're not on the path to actually gaining money. But we saw it's a long process, and I mentioned it before. You saw it with Tesla. Look at how long it took them to get profitable. It takes a while. You got to build the client base in there, get your vehicles delivered first, and then you work on operational efficiency. I just don't think they're there yet. This could be a very transformational quarter for them if they're able to beat this EPS line. And then obviously into Q2, see if they can continue that trend. That's what I'm going to be looking for here. Is that EPS line mostly. The revenue, should be great, right? We see an what am I doing? We see an expectation on the revenue. It's going to be around $670 million roughly. We're talking massive growth year over year, but that's because they didn't really deliver anything. They just started delivering in the middle of last year. So that makes sense. And I've seen one actually in my actual life. I've seen one Rivian vehicle out there, which is pretty cool, pretty good looking. I do like their truck quite a bit. I can't lie. So I'll be looking at that one because I should see massive price movement in one way or the other. Oxy after them. Twilio, a lot of people like the company. I don't follow it too well enough to give you an estimation of what might happen here. Firm Holdings, they do a great thing. Upstart, one of those tech I just don't follow enough. Wynn Resorts, now this is one that you're going to look at for experiences yet again, right? How is demand looking from an experiences standpoint? I've seen data, from my personal estimation that shows we're going to see pretty good numbers so far of people booking things not only for this year, or they've already gone on certain vacations, a lot more than they did last year. I've seen really good data on that standpoint from multiple resources. I always do my research on this. I got a couple companies that are relevant to this, and Win would benefit quite a bit. They've got very high quality properties. That's all they focus on, is having top notch properties. This could be very big for them, and I'd love to see these results. I'm really interested in it, but I think from a revenue perspective, they're going to be looking pretty darn good. Dutch Bros, Celsius. I actually first time a couple months ago was the first time I had a Celsius drink. I've always seen them forever. Not bad. Kiwi guava, something like that. It's a pretty tasty beverage. I'll give them credit. It is one of those companies that claims absolutely fake things on their product packaging, but that's every single energy drink that's ever existed. They literally just make up words, copyright them, and say our product contains super hydro creamoxylene. It's efficient for brain power. Get out of here. Who's buying this? Who's falling for this crap? It's fake. Anyways, love to see it because I know they had their lawsuit actually recently. I think that was this quarter, which they actually started paying people out for that. So I'd love to see how much that impacts their EPS line here. I might be wrong on when they actually started paying that out. I don't know if they have yet, but I believe it was this quarter. Luminar, for their fake claims, by the way. That'd be why. Um, Roblox, I did want to highlight because Nasty Nancy loves this one. This thing's up 25.85%, way outpacing the market just year to date, way outpacing the market. We're going to see user numbers. That's what's going to matter here for Roblox. I'll be interested in seeing what they're able to do here. Ugh, what the freak are you? Look at the size of that ant on my screen. Ah! Sorry. Anyways, that thing is massive. I can't even you can't even fathom how big this thing was, and I just saw it crawl from the bottom. I thought it was an absolute massive spider on my screen. This thing is incredible. I'll let it live for now. Maybe not for long though. So we get into Roblox, and then let's go down to just Li Auto here. Worth mentioning, obviously, another EV. They've been posting great numbers in terms of great revenue growth over from a Chinese market, but they're still only in China, so they're pretty limited in their ability. Wendy's, look, I don't like Wendy's. You give me cold food. I've heard that the new hot and crispy fries, they actually, by that they mean they literally just admitted to us. I mean, they said, before we were giving you these wet, disgusting, cold fries, and we're going to do better. I haven't gone back since because, I go there and still the burger's going to be cold, I guarantee it. But if they do hot fries, we'll take it. Not better than McDonald's fries, sorry. Tiva, Coherent, Brookfield Asset Management, a lot that goes there, especially with Blackstone too. A lot that goes into those in terms of their overall asset management portfolio. We've got First Citizen Bank shares, another regional bank. We've seen a lot of those report already. So this is really essential because these regional banks are getting hammered lately. They're going to want a good report in order for them to, bring that stock back up. Village Farms after them. I don't know. Disney is one that kind of the last one I'm going to highlight here. What the freak was that? Oh, there's an ad playing and it blasted my eardrums. I freaked out. Anyways, so they're expecting on this quarter a 93-cent line. It is a decline in EPS, and I bet that probably is the case. Still working on operational efficiency. This thing is loud as can be when it comes to, not only the Disney Plus business, because they're spending a lot when it comes to content. It's a big, big thing for them. So, a decline not necessarily unexpected. We've got, spending from new season of Mandalorian. They've got a lot of new content that they've spent a lot of money on, so I'm not shocked here. Now, we'll take that. I'm not too concerned there. My real thing I want to look at is going to be the revenue line. What investors care about, let's just be honest here, they care about the Disney Plus subscribers still. That's what they're going to want to see. I don't think it's going to be a massive quarter for subscriber growth. I mean, we've seen A little bit of stagnation here, and Netflix, when they reported, they showed about a 2.5 million subscriber growth. I would presume Disney is going to be closer to around 1.5. Just being honest, from a Disney Plus standpoint. Now, Hulu. I always like looking at the Hulu Live numbers because that's a lot of money that's brought in per Hulu Live subscriber. So get that out of here. Um, they are expected to grow 7.5% in revenue here, 21.79. I think it's a line that they will hit and exceed. Actually, like I said, I think the demand for the parks as a whole has recovered quite a bit faster than anticipated. What the freak? How many times do I got to get rid of this thing? Um, anyways, I think they're going to beat that line, post closer to a $22.1 billion line. And I think it's going to be driven by strength in the park segment. So take a look out for that. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm feeling based off the data I've seen. Um, and gut feeling, too. Don't forget that. Um, the trade desk after them. Unity, right? A lot of games made it in the Unity Unreal Engine. It's worth mentioning. Game development is only increasing. Nice one to look at. Allegro, Ginkgo BioWorks. If I've ever seen a company I would never trust a drug made by, it's going to be Ginkgo BioWorks. I would never consume it. I won't even consume Tylenol, to be honest, but I definitely won't consume something from Ginkgo. I'll tell you that. Beyond Meat. Um, what can I say about Beyond Meat? You've heard me saying bad things about it all the time. I just don't think this area, Beyond Meat and the artificial meat game, I really don't think it's got as much legs. That doesn't even make sense. I don't think it has the legs that people presume it does, right? It's a pretty limited market that actually is interested in these products. Just being honest. Um, you're not going to convert people to using just Beyond Meat products if they've been eating meat before. It's just the growth is not as rapid as they might want. The demand isn't quite there, right? And you've seen it specifically when you're looking at companies like Tattooed Chef, who might get delisted. All right, this company is struggling to stay listed. Tattooed Chef is, so it's just not necessarily the demand that was previously anticipated when these companies kind of started popping off. They got kind of their baseline customer set, and now it's kind of hard to grow from there. Just something that's worth mentioning and worth taking a look at here for even Beyond Meat. So I'll be looking at it. Catalyst, Robinhood. Can I say things about them? I don't know if I'm allowed to, right? I work for a competitor here, okay? But there's Robinhood. It's worth taking a look at, right? We want to see what's going on from a financial standpoint and really just an exclusively brokerage standpoint. Worth taking a look at. Nutrien and Magnite. He's a pretty good Pokemon. I like Magneton better, though. Anyways, Thursday before open, JD.com. Obviously a great one to look at. Fiverr. People still use Fiverr. I just have not heard anything about that company forever. Who's paying for someone to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is epic? Is that guy still doing it? What's that guy's name? Yeah, who's going to pay Dwayne Johnson $50 to say, happy birthday? I mean, who's doing this? Come on now, get him something else. That's a joke. People just love wasting money. Anyways, Krispy Kreme, now that's not wasting money. When that hot sign's on, I could slurp those donuts like absolute water. When the hot sign's on, I haven't had Krispy Kreme in forever, by the way, just because I'm cheap as crap. But it's not a waste of money, I'll tell you that. You're gonna enjoy every bite, even though I'll finish a donut in 2 bites if it's Krispy Kreme. We've got Yeti, CyberArk, Copen, Tapestry Brands, another one from a clothing perspective. We'll take a look at that. I feel decent about it. I think people have, done good numbers, and they're back in malls, and a lot of Tapestry, they sell a lot. Obviously a lot of their storefronts are going to be in malls from the brands that they own. I think the mall demand is actually there, surprisingly. Algonquin, Hukipa, fake name, and U.S. Foods. Supply chain's big stuff. U.S. Foods, worth mentioning. After close, Soundhound. Okay, that's fine. Indie. Sanmina. Okay, now we're just making things up. Ion Q, we're just making things up right now. Is this a joke? Semtrex 8x8. I've heard of a 4x4. What the freak is an 8x8? Come on now. You're making stuff up here. Ouster, Sun Life, Biodesics. Again, not buying their drugs. And Getty Images. They're a publicly traded company. Getty Images? What? No. No, I don't believe it. There's no way. What? Who's buying this stock, bro? What is this? 2.3. What is this garbage? You're telling me. Oh, okay. I didn't realize this thing went public back in July of last year. Down down pretty massively. What? This a one-trick pony, is it not? American British. Oi, mate. I get the Getty Images. I'm buying a stock. Anyways, I'll get my beans on my stock. They love beans on everything, those British people. Let me tell you, what is it about them? Why do they put beans on everything? What the freak? Not everything needs baked beans. Anyways, get out of here. Before open Friday, Embecta. Spectrum Brands. We'll take a look, obviously, at Dish for a little bit of a sneak peek at that. I thought they were just Spectrum. Now they're Spectrum Brands. I guess they just want to diversify the name so it encompasses more. NYC, REIT. I love a nice, incredibly literal company name. It's like naming your fried chicken place. Chicken. I mean, that's what they're doing here. Chicken place. That's what you're naming it. That's just. Oh, it's great. Delcath, Air Sculpt, and Impel. Listen, folks, that's what I got for you today. Let me know what you want to see. This video is long, and oh, baby. You know what? I am too. Whoops.